العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا وتقا وصلاحا يا رب العالمين. اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I welcome you all, the viewers, here on today's show, the program titled Learning to Recite the Quran from Scratch. I am your host, Imam Syed Anisul, Haque, and inshallah I will be accompanying you on your journey in learning how to recite the book of Allah Azza wa Jal with proficiency. Alhamdulillah, in our last session we covered the Arabic letters, and bi'idhnillahi ta'ala we will start off again with the Arabic letters as a way of revision, and thereafter we will continue with the new session for today bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So I will start off by reading the Arabic letters so you can all hear how it's pronounced. Thereafter we will move on bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Before we start, I would like to mention that callers, when you do call in, you can call in and speak in English, you can speak in Arabic, you can speak in Bengali, no problem, inshallah. We are here to help and assist you bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. طيب, let's start off with the Arabic letters as a revision from last session. So we have the first letter, alif, then ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha, dal, ذال را زا سين شين صاد ضاد طا ظا عين غين فا قاف كاف لام ميم نون ha, wow, and ya. So these are the Arabic letters that we covered in the last session. Inshallah, we will be continuing today with a new session, and that is we are going to divide these letters into its articulation points. We have to understand that the letters, they have their own characteristics, and not all the letters are pronounced the same. Some are, for example, from the throat, some are the use of the tongue, etc. So we have a diagram that will show you where each letter goes in its respected category. So if you look at the diagram here, we have 5 groups. We have the nasal area, the nose. We have the mouth area. We have the throat, the lips, and the tongue. If you look at these 5 areas that we have, all of the letters will come under one of these categories. So we will start from the right side with the nose. The nose, we have 2 letters, the letter noon and mim. However, very important, it is only from the nose or the nasal area when you do something called a ghunna, which we will be learning shortly, inshallah. Ghunna is when you prolong a noon with this double sign that goes on top of it. Ghunna. So sometimes you will hear inna, amma. These sounds, if there is a shadda on the letter noon and mim, then you do a ghunna and it is from the nasal. If you want to test yourself if you are doing it from the nasal or not, then what do? When you do the ghunna, you block your nose. If you cannot continue, that means you are reading it right. That means you are reading it from the nose. If you can continue, that means you are reading it clearly and you're not reading from the nose. So that means you're not doing the ghunna properly. So that is the first area, the nose. So the examples are inna, amma. So the noon and mim both have ghunna. Then if we go down, we have the mouth area. It is known as al-jawf. Again, there are 3 letters there, alif, waw, and ya. But in reality, dear viewers, alif, waw, and ya, they actually go into different groups. But you use the mouth area when you are doing a prolongation. There will be something that you will learn shortly, inshallah, in a couple of lessons, that we will cover the mad signs, when you prolong a letter. Sometimes when you listen to the Quran, you hear sometimes, or many times, the reciter, he prolongs the letter. For example, Malik Yawmiddin, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. We are prolong these letters. There are three letters that we use to prolong the sound. They are the letters alif, waw, and ya. So when you are prolonging these letters, this is when you are using your mouth. A, I, U. So remember, if someone was to ask you the articulation point for the mouth area, what are they? You will say alif, waw, and ya only when you are prolonging it. Okay? So that's the second area. The third area that we have is the throat. So with the throat, dear viewers, we have 6 letters. How many? 6 letters. So if you follow with me, inshallah, the throat is divided into 3 groups. We have the bottom of the throat, we have the middle of the throat, and we have the top part of the throat. Again, from the bottom, from the middle, and then from the top. As for from the bottom of the throat, we have 2 letters. Hamza, ha. Hamza, ha. The hamza is the sound a, a. If you see, we're not putting any emphasis on it, like the letter A. So it's from the bottom of the throat. Similarly, the letter ha, not the letter ha, the letter ha, which is the third to last letter in the Arabic alphabet. Ha, like the letter H. These 2 letters are from the bottom of the throat. Hamza, ha, or a, ha. This is from the bottom of the throat. As for the middle of the throat, then we have 2 other letters. Ain, ha. Ain, ha. 2 things we have to analyze here. First thing is that if you want to say it from the middle of the throat, then you have to ensure that your tonsil is moving a little bit. If your tonsil isn't moving, that means you're reading it from the bottom. Watch. Ain, ain, a. Your tonsil has to move. A, ha, a, ha. These 2 letters are from the middle of the throat. Second thing that we want to analyze is both of these letters, we are stretching our mouth out, just like we did the hamza and ha. A, ha, a, ha. Okay, so these are from the middle of the throat. Then we have 2 more letters that are from the throat, and they are from the top part of the throat, more closer towards the use of the tongue. And they are the letters ghain, kha, ghain, kha, ghain, kha. Something else you realize in comparison to the 4 letters that we just did is both of these letters are heavy. That's why I'm making my mouth into an oval shape. Ghain, kha. So the 6 letters, hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain, kha. How do we differentiate between the letters of the tongue and the letters of the throat? Very simple. If your airway is opened and there can be air coming out of in between your tongue and your tonsil, that means you are reading a letter of the throat. Listen carefully. Ain, ha, ghain, kha. When you see a ghain, kha, there's a little gap in between your tongue, right? But once you see a qa, you block your airway, then you go to the characteristics of the tongue, okay? So these are the 3 from the right side that we've covered. We've got the nasal area, the noon and meme with the ghunna. We've got the mouth area, prolongations, and then we have the throat, which are the 6 letters that I have just mentioned. Now let's move on to the left side. We have 2 areas, the lips and the tongue. We will start off with the lips. We have here 4 letters of the lips. If you are using any part of your lips, straight away know it is a letter of the lips. For example, meme, ma, both lips are touching each other. Meme. So it is a letter of the lips. The letter ba, again a letter of the lips. The letter fa, although you're only using 1 lip, but it's still a letter of the lips. And the last one that we have is wow, wow. You see, I'm using the lips. So these are the letters of the lips. Ba, mim, fa, and wow. Moving on to the last category, it is the letters of the tongue. The letters of the tongue. The letters of the tongue are the rest of the letters of the Arabic language, and they aren't categorized in a specific manner. But if you can see in the diagram, we have all of the rest of the letters. Ra, Noon, Ta, Dal, Ta, Dha, Dhal, Tha, Dad, Lam, Ya, Sheen, Jim, okay, Kaf, and Qaf. Okay, these are the letters of the tongue. Of course, they're not all in one place. Okay, they're in different places. Okay, so overall, we have the summary of the articulation points of the letters. They are categorized into 5 groups. So if someone wants to ask you what are the articulation points for each letter, then you can use this diagram as your reference point, inshallah. So this is again the summary of all the letters that we have covered. We put it into this diagram. Moving on, inshallah, the next topic of today's session, inshallah, and that is dividing the letters into 3 groups. Dividing the letters into 3 groups. The Arabic letters can be divided into 3. We have the heavy letters, the light letters, and the third category is letters that are sometimes heavy, sometimes light. Sometimes heavy, sometimes light. So either, okay? This lesson is one of the most important lessons when it comes to becoming proficient in how you pronounce the letters. Okay? So we'll go through them inshallah one at a time for you to understand. Before we get into the heavy letters, dear brothers and sisters, we have to know how the heavy letters work. Very simple. We have emphasized this on the first and the second lesson. Whenever you have a heavy letter, there are 2 principles that you need to abide by in order for you to recite or pronounce the letter correctly. The first of these things is that you ensure that you are making your mouth into an oval shape. You make your mouth into an oval shape. The second thing is that you move up and down and not left and right. And we can add a third principle for some of the letters, which I will explain more in detail, and that is do not move your bottom lip. So generally for all of these 7 letters, the heavy letters, the 2 principles are what? That you make your mouth into an oval shape, and second, you go up and down and not left and right. And the third principle, which is only applied to some of the heavy letters, which we will explain in detail, is that do not move your bottom lip. So let's analyze it. We have the first letter, the letter Kha. The letter Kha. I want you to look at the diagram in yellow. Okay? Analyze the letters first, then we will go over the word. Okay? So we have the letter Kha. Let us apply the 2 principles that I've mentioned. Watch my mouth. I've made it into an oval shape. Secondly, Kha. I'm going up and down. If I was not to make it into an oval shape, it will be Kha. That's wrong, isn't it? Secondly, if I was to go left and right, it would be Kha and not Kha. You see the difference? So this is why if you apply these 2 principles in all of the letters, most likely you will pronounce the letter correctly. Kha. Kha. Okay? Moving on to the next letter, the letter Sad. Here, 2 principles I've mentioned apply, and also the third principle, which is do not move your bottom lip. Let us analyze the letter Sad. Watch. Oval shape. Up and down. Sa. Don't move the bottom lip. If we were to do the opposite, watch. Sa. Or Swa. I move the bottom lip. So these 3 principles are applied on the letter Sad. Let's say it again. Sad. Kha. Sad. Kha. Sad. Right? Moving on to the next letter. The letter Dad. The letter Dad. The letter Dad, as we have done in the previous session, is close to the letter Dal, but it's the full mouth version, the heavy version. And again, all three principles apply on the letter Dad. Make it into an oval shape. Go up and down, Dwa, and do not move your bottom lip. Once you move your bottom lip, what will happen? Dwa, Dwa. Many of us, we make that mistake. So we don't say Dwa, don't move your bottom lip. And don't say Da, that's wrong, because then it would be empty. You make it heavy, Da. So we have Kha, Sa, Da. Then we have the next letter, the letter Ghain, Ghain, exact same. But here, not three principles, but two principles. Because even if you were to move your bottom lip, you can't in the letter Ghain. It won't make sense, right? So we have two principles that are applied here. Up and down and oval shape. Watch. Gha, 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 Gha. So it's similar to the letter Kha. So we have Kha, Sad, Dad, Ghain. Good. We have three more letters. Ta, same. Again, if you can analyze, we're repeating the same thing over and over again. So the three principles apply. Twa, wrong, no double E. Ta, ta, qaf. And finally, dha, dha. And now if you look at all the letters now, kha, sad, dad, ghain, ta, qaf, and dha. Right, how many letters are there? There are 7 letters. So memorize this. There are 7 letters in the Arabic, 7 heavy letters in the Arabic language. If someone was to ask you, how many letters are there that are heavy in the Arabic language? You will say 7. Then someone will ask you, okay, tell me all the letters. Now, memorizing letters separately can become difficult. Okay, you're going to have to go through the Arabic alphabet. Okay, it's kha, okay, sad, etc. Right? So if you look in the brown box, there is a word that I've put here. I want you all, those who are viewing, to memorize this sentence. This sentence, if you memorize it, then you know all of the heavy letters of the Arabic language. So I want you to repeat with me. Khussa, 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 ضغط, 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 قض, قض, قض. All together. خص ضغط قض. Again. خص ضغط قض. One more time. خص ضغط قض. If you look at the sentence, let's analyze it. خص. It's got the letter خا, صاد. ضغط, ضاد. غين, طا. قض, the letter قاف and ضا. This sentence, it includes all of the 7 letters. So the next time someone asks you, what are the heavy letters? You do not need to go through all of the Arabic alphabet to, show the letters. You can just mention the sentence, خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ. And then someone will say to you, what do you mean خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ? You'll say, in the sentence are all of the Arabic letters of the, all of the heavy letters of the Arabic language. Saying that, inshallah, we will stop for a few minutes, see if there are any phone calls. Do we have any phone calls? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alhamdulillah. Bala सुनते नानी.
जी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह.
अच्छा, आपने कितना फरमाइश के?
আমি লেটার শোনাবো মানে হইতেছে নিয়ে আপনাকে
জি
ও লেটার শোনাবো আলিবাটা ওগুলো আর কি
আলিবাটা ফরতা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে বিসমিল্লাহ
জি আউযু বিল্লাহি মিনাশ শাইতানির রাজিম বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম আলিফ বা তা সা জিম হা
হা
دال ظال
أفهم باقي بني دال بعدين
دال زال
ঠিক আছে
را
را را يبقى را
را را سين জি আমার কথা শুনিয়েন না
হিবা কইবা সিন
সিন সিন ওয়াদ ওয়াদ ওয়া ওয়া আইন গয়েন ফা
ফা
অফ
ফা
ফা কফ কাফ লাম মিম নুন ওয়াও
হা ওয়াও
হা ওয়াও ইয়া
মাশাআল্লাহ very good alhamdulillah thank you afa jazakallah khair okay
আর আর কিছু শোনা মনে এখন যেগুলো বলছেন ওইগুলা পড়া যাবে না
জি
যতক্ষণ যেগুলো বলছেন ওইগুলা পড়তে পারবো না ওই যে অক্ষর অক্ষর সেখানে আবার 3টা অক্ষর একসাথে করা ওইগুলা
জি আপনি আচ্ছা যেটা আজকে আমরা পড়ছি আফা ওখানে দেখরানি আপনার টিভির মাঝে দেখরা এখানে আমরা সাতটা হরুফ আছে আপনি ওটা পড়বানি খ থাকি
জি ওটা পড়তে চাই যে
জি পড়বা প্লিজ
বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম খ ওয়াদ দদ ওয়াইন তা কফ রা
মাশাআল্লাহ very good বই আপনার তাটা হিবার কইবানি প্লিজ
জি
তা কইবানি হিবার তা
তা
আচ্ছা আপনার তা যেটা নানি আপনার বটম লিপস একটা এটা হরাইবা না বুঝছেন নি তা ওয়াও সাউন্ড এটা বাড়াইতো না আপনার কই তা কইরা তোয়া কইরা এটা রং তা তা
আচ্ছা আবার আরেকবার বলি তাহলে
ওকে ঠিক আছে ও ঠিক আছে
ওয়াদ
সাদ কইবা না আপনার ওয়াও যেটা যে নানি এটা বা করবা না সাদ কইবা না সাদ
আচ্ছা খ ওয়াদ ওয়াদ তোয়া গাইন তোয়া অফ রা
মাশাআল্লাহ আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে মাশাআল্লাহ জাযাকাল্লাহ খাইরান
খিস 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 খাসা
খুসসা
খুসা ও এটা তো চলে গেছে
ضغط
খুসা দোয়া দোয়া তিন
قض
কিস
ও ঠিক আছে খুসসা ضغط قض
খুসা দোয়া তিন কিস
ও ঠিক আছে মাশাআল্লাহ ও যেটা কইছেন নানি ওখানে মাঝে সব হেভি লেটার ওখানে আছে
ওই ওই সাথেটা আছে
জি ওটা যেমন আপনার হিকিলাইন নানি আপনার খেয়েও যেমন জিকাইবা কোনোদিন আরবি লেটার ওখান যেটা হেভি নানি কোনটা আপনি কইবা ও সেন্টেন্সের মাঝে সবটা আছে বুঝছেন নি ওকে জাযাকাল্লাহ খাইরান ওকে বোন জাযাকাল্লাহ very nice আসসালামু আলাইকুম Okay, inshallah. So the next callers that call in, rather than pronounce all the letters, we will focus on the heavy letters, inshallah. So if you can pronounce the heavy letters and then mention the sentence that we have put on the screen. Do you have any more callers? Okay, next caller, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম ভালো আছেন হুজুর
Alhamdulillah, আপনি ভালো আছেন তো নানি?
আছি আলহামদুলিল্লাহ দোয়া করবা
Inshallah. তো আপনি দেখলা তো ওখানে 7টা লেটার আছে।
জি
তো ওই 7টা লেটার প্লিজ পড়বা।
খস দত দত তিন এইট
আচ্ছা এটা বাদে পড়বেন আপনি ফয়লা লেটার ওখানে পড়িলকা খ থেকে
খ খ ত দোয়া আইন ত কফ ওয়া
মাশাআল্লাহ যে সুন্দর হইছে বইন আমি আপনার একটা অ্যাডভাইস দিমু আপনি যেমন লেটার ওখানে পড়বা নানি আপনার মুখ উফরে নিচে যাইতো আপনি নানি আরম্ভ করছেন ভেরি নাইস বাদে আপনার মুখ ওলান খুলিলেইছলা কইছা স এটা রং হয়ে যায় উফরে নিচে যাইতো বুঝলানি ওই দেখো ক্যাশ স্ক্রিনও খ সদ দ দেখলানি আমার মুখ তো লড়ে না এক জায়গা থাকে ওলান করতে বইন ইনশাআল্লাহ হিবার কইবা
ত দ ক ত কফ ওয়া
ও ঠিক আছে মাশাআল্লাহ আচ্ছা আপনার সেন্টেন্সটা কইবানি খুসসা দাগতিন কিদ
উসা দত তিন পিট
খুসসা
উসা দত তিন
দাগতিন
দত তিন
কিদ
পিট
মাশাআল্লাহ আচ্ছা আর একবার কইবা
উসা দত তিন পিট
কিদ ওকে আমি চাই আপনার এটা আনা দিকে শিকিলাইতা সেউজুম আপনার এখন জিকাই নানি হইল হেভি লেটার হল আরবিত কোনটা আপনি ও সেন্টেন্স হইলে ওই যাইব বুঝছেন নি কজ এই সেন্টেন্সের মাঝে সব 7টা লেটার হল আছে খুসসা দাগতিন কিদ ঠিক আছে নানি মাশাআল্লাহ সুন্দর করে পড়ছেন নাফা জাযাকাল্লাহ খাইরান ওকে আসসালামু আলাইকুম Inshallah, we will go for a short break now, and after the break, we will take in a few more calls for the heavy letters before we move on to the next part of the show. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome you back, dear viewers, to our weekly program, learning to recite the book of Allah Azza wa Jal from scratch. I am your host, Imam Syed Anisul Haque. Alhamdulillah, before the break, we talked about the articulation points of the letters. We divided into 5 groups. We had the nasal area, the throat, the mouth, the lips, and the tongue. Thereafter, we divided the letters into 3 groups, 3 categories: heavy letters, light letters, and letters that are sometimes heavy and sometimes light. So far, we have covered the heavy letters. Inshallah, we will be taking in a few more phone calls before we continue to listen to the heavy letters. So if there are any phone calls, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum balasan.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Jiya khala bala sayyidunani.
Afi alhamdulillah bala.
মাশাআল্লাহ
দোয়া
ইনশাআল্লাহ আপনিও দোয়া করবা ইনশাআল্লাহ তা আমরা এখন তো 7টা লেটার আছে দেখলা তো নানি তা ও 7টা ফরবানি প্লিজ ইনশাআল্লাহ
Yes, sir. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qissa.
না খুসসা
Qissa. Yeah, sorry. Qissa.
جا
Dahtin.
মাশাআল্লাহ ضغط
Dahtin.
قض
Tit. Tit.
قض قض
Tit.
মাশাআল্লাহ ঠিক আছে ফ্যান্টাস্টিক এখন আপনি ও 7টা লেটার সেপারেটলি ফরবানি খাটা কি
Qissa.
যা এটা ফরই লাইছেন খালা ঠিক আছে ও যে
Yes, sir.
আচ্ছা এখন খাটা কি ফরবা
Kha. Dua. Dua. Ain.
غاين غاين
Yes. Ain. Dua. Kaf.
قاف 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 না قاف قاف
Kaf.
ও ঠিক আছে
Kaf.
ظا ظا মাশাআল্লাহ মাশাআল্লাহ ভেরি গুড তারপরে যে লেটার হলনি মাশাআল্লাহ সুন্দর করে পড়ছেন কিন্তু একটা অ্যাডভাইস দিমু খালা হইলো আপনার যেমন ফরবা নানি আপনার উফরে নিচে যাইবা হয় দেখো কা খ صاد আপনি যেমন তুরা খুলিলাই নানি ফুরইতো নাই বুঝানি কিতা কইরাম স কইলে খুলিলাই রা আপনি যেমন নিচে যাইন নালান খ صاد ضاد এক জায়গাতে রাখবা বুঝছেন নি
Yes, sir.
যা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে মাশাআল্লাহ ভেরি নাইস হইছে জাযাকাল্লাহ খাইরান নেক্সট কলার ইনশাআল্লাহ আসসালামু আলাইকুম
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম ওয়া রাহমাতুল্লাহি ওয়া বারাকাতুহু ভালো আছেন হুজুর
জি আলহামদুলিল্লাহ আপনি ভালো আছেন তো নানি
জি আলহামদুলিল্লাহ
ওকে মাশাআল্লাহ তে আপনি ইনশাআল্লাহ স্ক্রিন তো দেখলা নানি ওটা হুরুফ কল প্লিজ ফরবা
জি বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম খুসসা
মাশাআল্লাহ
দাগতিন কিজ
মাশাআল্লাহ মাশাআল্লাহ ভেরি নাইস হইছে আচ্ছা এখন হুরুফ কল প্লিজ সেপারেটলি ফরবা
খা صاد ضاد غين
غاين
غين
মাশাআল্লাহ
طاء
মাশাআল্লাহ
قاف ظا
আল্লাহুম্মা বারিক ফ্যান্টাস্টিক হইছে আপনার ফুরো হইয়া করছেন মাশাআল্লাহ সব লেটার উপরে নিচে গেছেন নরমাল মানুষ এটা খুলিলাই নানি আপনি খুলছেন না মাশাআল্লাহ ভেরি গুড জাযাকাল্লাহ খাইরান
যে দেখাই আপনি দেখেন
মাশাআল্লাহ 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 এক্সেলেন্ট ওকে আফাজাজ আসসালামু আলাইকুম তাহলে নেক্সট কলার আসসালামু আলাইকুম আসসালামু আলাইকুম
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম
ভালো আছেন তো নানি
আর আমার লাগি দোয়া করে দিও রে বা আমি বেশি বেমার
ইনশাআল্লাহ আল্লাহ আপনারে শিফা দান করুক ইনশাআল্লাহ আপনি দোয়া
দোয়া
করবেন
করে দিও বা শোনা বাবা না আল্লাহ দোয়া খান আল্লাহ আমাদের তো এই কষ্ট থাকে আমল ইমান খানে কলিমা সাত মত খান
আমিন আমিন ইনশাআল্লাহ
আপনি ভালো আছেন তো
জি জাযাকুমুল্লাহ খাইরান আচ্ছা খালা ইনশাআল্লাহ প্লিজ ও হুরুফ কলটা ফরবা প্লিজ
আউযু বিল্লাহি মিনাশ শাইতানির রাজিম বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম খুসসা দাগুতিন
মাশাআল্লাহ
খিজ
قض
قض.
মাশাআল্লাহ ফ্যান্টাস্টিক ভেরি নাইস মাশাআল্লাহ আচ্ছা এখন না ইলা না খালা হিবার কইবা আপনার মুখটা ওলান করবা কে রাউন্ড শেপ গোল হইতো গোল
হা সাদ দাদ
ضاد
দাদ গাইন তোয়া কাপ জা
মাশাআল্লাহ ঠিক আছে খালা ভেরি নাইস হইছে কিন্তু আরো একটা অ্যাডভাইস দিমু আপনার যেমন আরম্ভ করছেন নানি সুন্দর করে করছেন বাদে আস্তে আস্তে নানি আপনার মুখ তোরা খুললে ইসলা নানি এক জায়গায় রাখতা ওই দেখো কা খ সদ
এবার কই দেখুন জানো
জি
খ খ
ও ঠিক আছে
সোয়া
মাশাআল্লাহ
দোয়া
মাশাআল্লাহ
ওয়ান
মাশাআল্লাহ
তোয়া কাপ দোয়া
মাশাআল্লাহ ফ্যান্টাস্টিক সুন্দর হইছে জাযাকাল্লাহ খাইরান
তাছাড়া দোয়া করে দোয়া
inshallah আপনি দোয়া করবেন inshallah okay assalamu alaikum inshallah we'll take another few call, 2 calls inshallah next caller assalamu alaikum assalamu alaikum
Walaikum salam.
inshallah yes khala if you can recite inshallah khussa ضغط انقض
আমি পয়লা হেভি লেটার কই দেই
okay inshallah ঠিক আছে
খ
mashallah
صاد
mashallah
ضاد
very good
غين
غاين নাই আপনার غاين কিটা করবা পুরো غاين
غين
ও ঠিক আছে mashallah
طا
mashallah
قاف
mashallah
ظا
اللهم بارك fantastic that was very good mashallah আচ্ছা এখন আউ ওয়ার্ডটা কইবানি প্লিজ খুসা ضغط انقض
خصة ضغط
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 ما شاء الله
قز
قض
قز
اوكي مكري كيف روح قض
قز
ايوه ما شاء الله very good okay so এখন very fantastic all letter قلنا يعني انا دي كهي كليبا ان شاء الله and that was very good جزاك الله خيرا one more caller ان شاء الله السلام عليكم ورحمه الله السلام عليكم
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম ওয়া রাহমাতুল্লাহি ওয়া বারাকাতুহু
وعليكم السلام ورحمه الله بلا انت خلا
আলহামদুলিল্লাহ আপনারা ভালো আছেন
জি আলহামদুলিল্লাহ ready আছেন তো আজকে?
একটা কথা আজকে 3 দিন হয়েছে আমার বোন মারা গেছে দোয়া করবা
سبحان الله الله رحمة دان خلقها إن شاء الله إن شاء الله آمين
দোয়া করেন জানো
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله إن شاء الله حروف ربطنا إن شاء الله اسكي
জি
إن شاء الله بسم الله
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم خصة ضغط كذب
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله أچھا حروف separately for إن شاء الله خاتكي
ها فا دا غاي طا قاف زا
أو ঠিক আছে ما شاء الله جزاكم الله خيرا أفا إن شاء الله إن شاء الله دعاء ربنا إن شاء الله جزاكم الله خيرا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله okay inshallah we will stop with the calls for now so we can continue with the session and towards the end we will take more calls بإذن ta'ala so far alhamdulillah we have covered all the heavy letters 7 letters and as you can hear many of the callers called in but there was a common mistake which I will advise again and this is common amongst many of the Asians mainly but especially the Bengali community that we tend to open our mouth when we're pronouncing the heavy letters so when we start off very well everyone starts off very well but then they start to make it empty by saying it like this that's wrong keep it in one place kha sad dad up and down okay so these are the heavy letters that we have covered now we're going to move on inshallah we're going to be talking about 3 letters that are sometimes heavy sometimes light I'm going to go through this quickly because this is connected to another lesson which will coming in a few sessions inshallah so the letters that are sometimes heavy and sometimes light are alif lam and ra I want you to memorize this alif lam and ra if you read the letters separately you'll see that they already have a characteristic of heaviness or emptiness watch alif lam both are light ra is heavy but you will see that when it comes in specific words it will be heavy and specific words it will be light which we will get into detail so I want you to memorize right now we have 7 letters that are heavy guaranteed heavy all the time 3 letters that are sometimes heavy sometimes light we will be talking about it in a few sessions the question that comes now where are the empty letters where are the light letters the rest of the letters of the Arabic language are light now I want to give you advice how do you determine which letter is light? Very simple. If you are stretching your mouth, it is a light letter. Let's practice. Ba. I stretch my mouth, isn't it? So because I am stretching my mouth, the letter is light. Okay, let's try another letter. Dal. The letter, is it heavy or is it light? It's light because I'm stretching my mouth. Watch now. Kha. Am I stretching the mouth or am I going up and down? I'm going up and down, so the letter is heavy. And this is how you differentiate between heavy and light. If you are stretching your mouth out, it is automatically a light letter. Okay, watch. Lam, Mim, Dal, Sin, Sheen. Isn't it? Tha, Ha. All of these letters are light letters. Okay. So far we have done the heavy letters, the letters that are sometimes heavy and light, which we will be talking about in detail in the upcoming sessions. And then we have the rest of the letters that are all light. Moving on, inshallah, now we will familiarize ourselves with the short vowels of the Arabic language. And I want you all to pay attention to this. For those of you who have already studied the qaida, the Nurani qaida, you may have learnt it in the Urdu fashion. Zabur, Zair, Pesh, right? Today we're going to get rid of that. Today we're going to learn in the Arabic manner, okay? So we have the first vowel, which is known as the fatha. Fatha. Fatha equals zabar. So instead of saying zabar, you're going to say fatha. I want the audience to get used to these terms because we want to move away from the Urdu terms because we're learning the Arabic letters, so it's only befitting that we learn the Arabic short vowels as well. So zabar equals fatha, fatha. Kasra equals zair. So fatha is zabar, kasra is zair. Dhamma is pesh. So we have fatha, kasra, dhamma. Fatha, kasra, dhamma. Then we have something known as sakin. Some of you may know it as sukoon, others may know it as jazm. Okay? But it's called a sakin or a sukoon. I will explain each of these short vowels in detail as we go on, inshallah. But I want you to memorize it as the first stage. And the last thing that we have is called the shadda. Shadda. So we got 5 things. I want you to repeat it with me. Fatha, kasra, dhamma, sakin, shadda. Fatha, kasra, dhamma, sakin, shadda. These are your 5 short vowels. We will start off with the first short vowel of today's lesson, and that is the lesson on the fatha. We have 2 very important points here in order for us to know what a fatha is. Some of you, it may be the first time that you're learning the Arabic language, it's the first time learning the way to recite Quran, so you have to familiarize yourselves with these terms. When it comes to fatha, dear brothers and sisters, we have 2 points. Fatha is a slanted line written above the letter. Above the letter and not underneath the letter. If you can see under the letters, on top of the ba, on top of the tha, ta, all of these, there's a line there. This is called a fatha, what in Urdu is known as a zabar. Secondly, the sound that we make with the fatha is simple, the a sound. Meaning that we don't make the e or the u sound, no other sound but a. I want you to get used to the sound. So when it's a fatha, it's a sound. But remember one thing, going back to what we just covered, the letters are divided into 3 groups. Heavy, sometimes light, and light. Saying this, when we are doing the fatha sound, it will go accordingly. What do I mean by that? So if you are doing a heavy sound, you're not going to say a, you're going to say o. Do you understand? And if it's a light, then you're going to say a. Watch as I go through it, inshallah. Look at the letters. So we have the first letter alif. This is how we're going to say it. Alif fatha a, ba fatha ba, ta fatha ta, tha fatha tha. So you're not pronouncing the full letter. You're not saying alif fatha alif. No, you only pronounce or recite the first part of the letter. So if we do it together, watch. A, ba, ta, tha. Am I going to say jim? No. Jim fatha, only the first part of the letter. Ja. A, ba, ta, tha, ja, ha. But when it comes to the kha, what am I going to do? Am I going to say kha? No. Why? Going back to what we just covered. Kha is a heavy letter, so we're going to make the R sound. So we're going to say kha. So we say it like this. A, ba, ta, tha, ja, ha, and then kha, da, tha, and then ra, za, sa, sha. All of the letters we're saying like this. We're going to continue and watch. I do not prolong it either. Short. Sa, not sad. What do we say? Sad, fatha, sa, only the beginning of the letter. Sa, da, ta, dha, a, gha, fa, qa, ka, la, ma, na, ha, wa, and ya. Let's do it one more time. Alif fatha a, ba fatha ba, ta fatha ta, tha fatha tha, jim fatha ja, ha fatha ha. Follow along with me. Kha fatha kha, dal fatha da, dhal fatha dha, ra fatha ra, zin fatha za, za fatha za, sin fatha sa, شين فتحة شاء صاد فتحة صا ضاد فتحة ضا طاء فتحة طاء ظا فتحة ظا عين فتحة ع غين فتحة غا فا فتحة فا قاف فتحة قا كاف فتحة كا لام فتحة لا ميم فتحة ما نون فتحة na, waw fatha, wa, ha fatha, ha, and ya fatha, ya. So all of the sounds, we are only pronouncing the first part of the letter, but differentiate between the heavy and the light. So you can't say kha fatha, kha, that's wrong. Kha fatha, kha. You can't say dal fatha, da. You can't say dal fatha, da. Dal fatha, da. You can't say sad fatha, sa, that's wrong. Sa. Okay? So these are the lessons on fatha. Inshallah, we're going to take a few phone calls for us to practice this, and then we will move on bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Any phone calls, inshallah? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, I think that call went. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Balani huzur.
Ji alhamdulillah, bala suntanani khala.
Ji alhamdulillah huzur balasi.
Inshallah. Ta amra aske o lesson ta inshallah apne khurba fatha di buchenni. Zobar na fatha amra fatha dakhmun nani.
Ji huzur.
Acha ঠিক আছে alif ta karon khurba a ba khoya zaiba inshallah.
Ji huzur. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم হুজুর আমরা দুইজনে পড়বো
ঠিক আছে
আলিফ ফাতহা আ বা ফাতহা বা তা ফাতহা তা সা ফাতহা সা জিম ফাতহা জা হা ফাতহা হা خا فتحة خا دال فتحة دا زال فتحة زا قا فتحة را زا فتحة زا سين فتحة
سين
شين فتحة شا صاد فتحة صا ضاد فتحة ضا طا فتحة طا ظا فتحة ظا عين فتحة ع غين فتحة ظا قاف فتحة فا فتحة جز فا فتحة فا قاف فتحة قا كاف فتحة كا لام فتحة لا ميم فتحة ما نون فتحة نا Ha fatha ha. Waw fatha wa. Ya fatha ya. Hamza fatha ah.
Allahumma barik, mashallah, very good.
Assalamualaikum Huzur. Dua korba amar
Wa
message dilam Huzur.
Insha ঠিক আছে, wa alaikum assalam, mashallah, very good. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you please recite, inshallah?
Okay, will do.
Inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Can you tell me how to say it?
Okay, so you say alif, fatha, a.
Oh, alif fatha a.
Good.
Ba fatha ba.
Good.
Ta fatha ta. Sa fatha sa. Jim fatha jim. Ja.
No. Ja, good.
Ha fatha ha.
Good.
Ha fatha ha. Dal fatha da. Za fatha za. Ro fatha ro. Za.
Zeen, za, it's a light.
Za fatha za. Sa sin fatha sa. She fatha sha. Sword fatha swa. Dwa fatha dwa.
MashaAllah, sister, if I can stop you for 1 minute, you know your letters are very good, Allahumma barik, but you know your sad and dad, if you can, you know the W sound, try to avoid that W sound. So don't move the bottom lip. So like, watch if I say sad fatha, sa, sad fatha, sa. Yeah, without moving the bottom lip. Try again.
Sword fatha sword.
Sad fatha, sa.
Oh, sword fatha swa.
Good. Carry on.
Dwa fatha dwa. Dwa fatha dwa. Ain fatha ain.
Ain fatha.
Ah.
Good.
Ah.
Good.
Ain fatha wa. Fa fatha fa. Qua fatha qua.
Good.
Ka fatha ka. Lam fatha la. Mim fatha ma. Noon fatha na. Ha fatha ha. Wow fatha wow.
Wow, fatha, wa.
Wow fatha wow.
Not wow, fatha, wa.
Oh, wa fatha wa. Ya fatha ya. Hamza fatha a.
MashaAllah, ahsanti, very good, MashaAllah. MashaAllah, jazakumullah khairan. Okay, that was fantastic, okay. Alhamdulillah, so that's that done, inshallah. As you can see, it's a bit time consuming, hence why we will limit the calls when it comes to the lessons of the Fatha, Kasra and Dhamma. At the moment, inshallah, we will stop there and we will continue with the session just to cover some examples of words. Thereafter, we will finish for today's session and tomorrow we will continue bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So looking at this lesson now, we've got roughly 5 minutes before we finish off today's program. We want to now work on making words out of the fatha that we have learnt. So as you can see, before we were making all the sounds, a, ba, ta, tha, ja, ila akhiri, until the end. Now what we're going to do is we're going to join the letters in to make a word. So we have some examples here for you to familiarize yourself with the words. So if we look at the first word that we have 3 letters. Let's firstly look at the letters. What are the letters? Alif, Mim and Ra. All 3 letters have fatha. So if you're a beginner and you want to make this word, separate each letter. So Alif, fatha, a, Mim, fatha, ma, Ra, fatha, ra. So we got 3 letters right now. A, ma, ra. A, ma, ra. This is when you are separating it. When you join it together, there should be no gaps in between number 1 and there should be no prolongation. So it will become amara. Together, amara. Do you see? So let's do it again. Alif fatha a, Mim fatha ma, Ra fatha ra, amara. Together, amara. You see? This is how we do it. Let's do the next one. We got 3 letters. Ba, lam and ghain. Ba fatha ba. Lam fatha la, ghain fatha gha, ba la gha. Together, ba la gha. So it's a 3-stage procedure. First is you recognize the letters with the fatha, ba, la, gha. Then you separate it, ba, la, gha, and the last stage is you join it together, balagha. So we have amara, balagha. The next one, thamara. Together, thamara. 3 letters, isn't it? Next one, jim fatha ja, mim fatha ma, ain fatha a, jama'a. Together, jama'a. So we got 4 now. Amara, balagha, thamara, jama'a. Next line. ضا فتحة ضا لام فتحة لا ميم فتحة ما ضا لا ما ظلم. See, when you do it like this, it's quite simple. Let's read the other 3 words. And when I'm reading it, I'll give you a short 5 seconds for you to do it yourselves whilst you're watching with me. So we have wa, ja, da. Together, wajada. Together, wajada. That's how you read it. The next one, za, a, ma. If you got that right, then perfect. Next stage, join it together, za'ama. You see, the last word, separate it, kha, ra, ja. Join it together, kharaja. This is how we do it. So we'll recite all these words again. Amara, balagha, thamara, jama'a, ظلم, wajada, za'ama, kharaja. Fantastic. Now, I want to set a homework for you all in your free time, especially with the parents and the young children. What I want you to do is, now you want to familiarize yourself with the fatha. Open the mushaf and look for words that only have fatha. Okay? And try to read these words. And this is how you become proficient. We can't just stick to words that are examples on lessons. We need to open the mushaf, because our ultimate goal in learning tajweed is what? So that we can recite the Quran proficiently. So what you need to do is you open the mushaf and look for words that only have fatha. And when they have fatha, practice on it, and this is how you will become perfect. Inshallah, in the next session, we will continue. We will do the kasra and the dhamma and look at how they are pronounced properly, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, when we will allow the audience to, inshallah, call in, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Just to finish off, inshallah, I want to give a reminder to all the viewers that, inshallah, we have this lesson every Saturday and Sunday from sometimes 11:30, sometimes 12 o'clock for 1 hour. And it's an opportunity for you to call in and perfect your Quran recitation. But I want to advise our aunties and sisters to please get your children to get involved in this so that they can also participate. Jazakumullah khairan. With that being said, we will finish off for today's session. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.